Welcome back. This is day 7 of your health accountability. I am the accountability doctor, and I am here to help you on your health journey. We're trying to get you in a healthier spot here. We've been talking about fiber lately, and if you're new to the channel, I've been really stressing for people to eat more fiber because 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber. If you're new, women, they should get 25 grams of fiber a day, and men, 38 grams of fiber a day. Yes, I know it's a lot, but ultimately it's going to help out your body tremendously. So my question for you today is, have you eaten your fiber? Did you hit your goal? Did you try and avoid a little bit of processed foods? Did you skip the potato chips and instead opt for an apple or a banana? Just that one step is in the right direction. Did you have an opportunity to maybe move a little bit? Work out, a little exercise, a small 15-minute walk? If you made some small changes, comment down below. I'd love to hear about your journey. Quickly to recap on my journey, I did meet my 38 grams of fiber today. I had eggs and oatmeal in the morning, which was about 5, a large salad with lettuce, tomato, cucumbers, beets, beans, all sorts of goodies. It was big. About 15 grams of fiber. Dinner was Asian food with rice, meat, a bunch of veggies as well. So that was about another 10. And then I'm going to have some supplements with Metamucil and fiber gummies. And then some fruit to top it all off again in the evening. Yes, my diet is pretty consistent, but it works. Right now, 7 out of 7. All right. I made it a week of hitting that goal. And I hope that you've been doing it too. So all in all, I hit over 40 grams of fiber today. Again, I'd love to hear if you've been getting enough fiber. If you have, good for you. If you haven't, comment down below. I'd love to give you a little bit of encouragement. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about ultra-processed foods, how to spot them, what's really in them, and why the ingredients inside are so bad for your body. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is how to spot ultra-processed food. And there's a rule called the grandmother rule, where you look at the ingredient list. And if it has an item that you can't find in your grandma's kitchen, like soy lecithin, maltodextrin, high fructose corn syrup, or natural flavors, then yeah, it's likely an ultra-processed food. And if the ingredient list is a long CVS receipt, then it's probably a chemistry project and not an actual food, okay? And it's probably an ultra-processed food, yes. And granted, I understand that the world that we live in, it's almost impossible to avoid these 100%. Yes, that is totally true. But we don't have to be perfectionists here. We are just trying to be healthy. And the goal is to shift the balance toward more whole or more minimally processed food. Again, remember, if you take an apple and you turn it into applesauce, don't add sugar, don't add preservatives, don't add a whole bunch of natural flavors or whatnot, then that's still processing the apple. You have turned the apple into applesauce. So is it bad? No, not necessarily. Apple is an apple. Applesauce is an applesauce. Yes, it's processed, but it's okay here. And that's what we're looking for, something more whole and something minimally processed. So instead of eating Fruit Loops, we're having applesauce, all right? Now let's talk a little bit more about food processing. There's actually a classification system called the NOVA classification that's used by researchers to categorize how food has been processed. There are 4 stages of food processing. The first stage, this is unprocessed or minimally processed. These are where edible parts of the plant or animals get removed, like the bad parts. And then food was dried or crushed or frozen just to make it safer for storage. No salt, no sugar, no oil has been added. So we're talking about fresh fruit. Right? You just literally cut a fruit and then you can sell it. That's processed fruit. That's processed food technically. Raw nuts, pasteurized milk, frozen vegetables. You just take vegetables and then you freeze them so that somebody can eat them when they're cooked. Dried lentils, plain yogurt. These are all minimally processed foods. Yes, they still count as processed, but they're definitely a healthier option. Now, moving on to group 2. These are called the processed culinary ingredients. So usually these aren't meant to be eaten on their own. They are foods that you take from the first group and you press them, or you refine them, or you grind them down. So these are things that like we use in our kitchen to cook and season. So olive oil is an example, right? You take olives and then you squeeze them, so then you have olive oil. Yes, I know you can drink olive oil, but usually we're not meant to be just eaten on their own. Butter or honey or maple syrup, even salt, Now moving on to group 3. This is processed foods. These are simple products made by adding the second group of ingredients like salt and oil and sugar to group 1 foods. The goal here is to increase the shelf life or enhance the flavor, but the food usually still looks like the original version. So for example, if you have canned beans in salted water or freshly baked bread, like the ingredients for freshly baked bread should just be flour, water, salt, yeast. Other examples are simple cheeses. It's just made from milk. Canned tuna. It's just fish with some salt, maybe some oil, and maybe a little bit of preservatives. Now moving on. Group 4 is where the really ultra-processed foods come. This is where the health concerns really are, right? They aren't just modified foods anymore. They're really like chemical projects, okay? They add ingredients that, again, you won't see in your kitchen home. They're not seasonings, right? They're adding things to change the texture of the food, to really extend the shelf life, and to trick your brain into thinking that this is really, really delicious and you should eat a lot of it, right? They're made from things extracted from foods, and chemicals and colorants, emulsifiers, artificial flavors. They have that big list of ingredients and very little of the original food left, right? So we're talking about sodas. We're talking about snacks like chips and cookies, instant noodles, ramen, frozen TV dinners, frozen pizzas, and reconstituted meat like chicken nuggets, right? Going a little deeper into what they add here, there are things like cosmetic additives. These things are used to make the food look good, make it taste more appealing than it actually is. When you just do the industrial processing, it leaves the food looking gray or tasting bland. So you have to add in artificial dyes like red 40 or yellow 5 to make, let's say, fruit snacks look tasty. They'll also add flavor enhancers like MSG, the monosodium glutamate, or natural flavors to create an intense flavor or sweetness profile that doesn't exist in nature. They can also add emulsifiers, which is like a glue, if you will. They will keep the ingredients from separating and create a silky smooth mouthfeel. So we're talking things like soy lecithin or polysorbate 80. These will keep oil and water mixed. And if you don't have these emulsifiers, your salad dressing and your chocolate bars would just separate into a mess, really. Other things that they add are these industrial fractions, which are these fillers. So for example, instead of using a whole egg or whole wheat, these companies will isolate parts of foods because it's cheaper and more stable. For example, high fructose corn syrup is a concentrated form of sugar that's cheaper than cane sugar. You have hydrogenated oils, which are fats that have been chemically altered to stay solid at room temperature, right? Like trans fats. They're not good for your body. Protein isolates. We're talking about soy protein isolate or hydrolyzed wheat gluten. These are just cheap protein, like dust, sawdust, if you will, to boost protein claims on certain labels when, it's really just protein isolates and not the best kind of protein you can get. Maltodextrin, which is also a white powder made from starch, just used as a filler to improve texture. And then there are preservatives, which allow your food to sit on the shelf for years without spoiling. So like nitrates and nitrites, they're often used in hot dogs and bacon to keep them, looking pink and good, preventing bacteria growth. So the further you go from group 1 to group 2 to group 3 to group 4, the more that food complex, that food matrix is destroyed, right? If you take an apple, from the very beginning, and then let's turn it into Fruit Loops, for example, right? That structure of that apple is completely gone now by the time you make Fruit Loops. So the Fruit Loops that you're eating in the group 4 ultra-processed foods is pretty much already digested by the machines, because now when you're eating a Fruit Loop, your body is just absorbing the calories and sugar. That's it. It doesn't come with any fiber. It's just sugar. And your body will absorb that almost instantly, which again leads to high insulin and leaves you feeling hungry really quickly, often causing a crash. And over long periods of time, that leads to diabetes. Yes, people eat ultra-processed foods all the time. We're talking donuts, Oreos, ice cream. I don't deny that, right? And they're fine. What I want to stress, though, is that eating these things frequently, every single day, every single meal, over long periods of time, years and years and years, that's not good for your body. We're talking about chronic inflammation in your gut because you're eating chemicals. You're not eating real food. You're not eating good substance with good nutrients, with good fiber. You're eating these chemical formulations, right? If you can't find it in your grandma's kitchen, it's a lab ingredient. So why are we consuming lab ingredients here? That's my rant for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, this is day 7 on our health journey. We've made it a week, right? And if you've been taking the right steps, I applaud you, because your body will ultimately thank you. We're talking about fiber. If you've been getting your 25 grams for women, 38 for men, that is awesome, all right? Comment down below if you need a little assistance, if you need a little encouragement. I'm here to help you on your journey. We can all do this. We take it one step at a time. If you don't make it, that's okay. We can try again for the next day, as long as you're making a little bit of a commitment. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to keep you guys accountable. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, share with some friends, comment down below, and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope that your body will thank you. Thanks. I'll see you guys tomorrow.